Welcome to the Coaches Show. I'm Tim Albright, your host. And I'm here with Mr. Dion Sanders.
Hey, don't worry about that.
Dion Thomas, how are you, sir?
I've been called that before, so that's.
You've been called Dion Sanders?
Oh yeah, actually, T.J. Wheeler, a good friend of mine, always calls when he calls me. He says, "Am I speaking to Dion Sanders?" And I'm like, "No, talking to Dion Thomas."
Dion Thomas. Well, here's Coach Dion Thomas. We're going to talk a little bit about the men's basketball. Last time we saw you, we televised the Three Rivers game right before Christmas. You guys took a Christmas break, of course. How do you keep the players focused, let's say, during Christmas break?
You know, it's hard to keep them focused when they're here.
Yeah.
So it's extremely difficult to keep them focused when they're away from the daily routine of class and of basketball practice and things like that. I mean, the only thing you can really do is to talk to them and try to get them to see how important it is that they stay in some type of shape. Especially this year, we normally don't have a 2-week break. But I thought if I would give them the 2 weeks, we'd come back a little bit more focused, more ready to get to work. And I don't think it backfired on me, but we're definitely not doing as well as we should be.
What sort of exercises or programs or routines did you give them to do when they were off? Because I'm sure there was something you said, you guys should try to do this at least on a daily basis.
Well, I mean, you definitely want them to stay in shape. So you'll give them different things to do if they have access to a treadmill or if they have access to a gymnasium, different type of running drills. One of my favorites are suicides, which is basically you run and you would touch from the baseline to the free throw line, and then you would go back, touch the baseline to half court, back to the baseline, and so forth and so on to the other side of the court. We try to do that in under 30 seconds.
Good night.
It's a good sprint. It's not something it's killer crazy, but it's definitely enough to get the heart pumping. And then you come back and you'll stop on the line, and rest for 30 seconds. So you're running for 30 seconds and then you're coming back for 30 seconds.
And then do it all over again.
Yeah. And so I tried to get them to, at least do 5 sets of those, as well as do what we call 17s. Now, normally I use these 17s as punishment. So that'll tell you how many 17s got done over the break, I'm sure. But what a 17 is, instead of going the length of the court, you'll go the width of the court, and you go from sideline to sideline 17 times. Now that you're supposed to complete in under a minute, which again, it's not a full sprint, but you have to run it, say maybe 70% of what your full capacity would be.
Yeah.
And I mean, in just 3 or 4 of those, and that's enough to keep you going, along with doing things as far as shooting and making sure you eat the right things and that you're not out there, staying up late partying, hanging out with buddies and things like that. Now, I myself know how difficult that is from the times when I played, but you just hope that the guys will stay focused and that they'll do those things when they're coming back.
You mentioned obviously a lot of cardio workout. Is this a time of year or a time during the season where you would also encourage them to do weights, or is that something where you discourage them to stay? You encourage them to stay away from lifting too many weights?
Oh no. We mostly doing our preseason. We do a lot of weightlifting, free weights, dumbbells, and things like that. And during the season, we do more body weight type exercises where we'll do push-ups, we'll do pull-ups, we'll do wall sits, we'll do body weight squats, and things like that. This way you will be able to maintain your strength, but you're not
building
exhausting yourself. Yeah. Right. You're not building up all of the lactic acids and things like that. So now you're coming back to practice stiff and all of those different things. So we just kind of shift the focus and how we do things during the season. And it's worked out for me in the past. Those were a lot of things that I did when I was playing, but this year, not so good.
Well, we'll get to the not so good in here in a second. You did not have 2 weeks off. As a matter of fact, during the winter, I understand you did a fair number of recruiting calls.
Yes.
Is this the time of year? I mean, is there a reason that winter maybe is necessarily better than the spring or the fall for recruiting? Well,
I mean, normally it's when the seasons are really starting to get in full swing as far as high school. I mean, you have the guys that at the very beginning of the season are playing in different Thanksgiving tournaments and things like that. And then as you go on through the season, you've had a few games before the Christmas breaks before our Christmas break. And then when you go into around Christmas time, you have a lot of the big Christmas tournaments. You know, this year I made was going to make a trip over to Indiana. There were a couple big trips over there, but if you remember, we had that big snowstorm hit, so I didn't go over there. But I did get a chance to go up to Chicago, where they have it's called the Mech Dipper now, but when I was playing, it was called the Big Dipper, where you get to see a lot of the kids there. They had the tournament in Peoria, which we got a chance to go up there. And my wife and I actually, tried to break some new recruiting grounds, and we went up into Wisconsin, up into Milwaukee. So we made our rounds. I will say that. So,
what are you looking for next year's class, for next year's freshman class?
Well, the difficult part about JUCO is, you have kids, and the turnover is so fast. It's not like at Illinois where you're going to have kids for 4 years. I mean, you may have kids for 2 years. You may have them for 1 year. You may have them for the first semester. Yeah. So with that being said, I'm kind of looking for everything. What we really need is definitely a dominant post. We're going to need a dominant wing, and we're going to need a dominant guard. And then we'll fill in the rest of the spots around there, because I think we have some good players returning.
Okay. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with Dion Thomas.
Man, you're pretty good.
Welcome to the Lewis and Clark Minute. Today we're going to check in with the Exercise Science Program and Shane Halligan.
Have you ever thought to yourself, I just don't have enough time to exercise? Well, here's a few ideas to get you more active from the comfort of your own home while enjoying some of your favorite TV shows. Your typical TV show has 4, 5, 6, even 7 2-minute breaks, which allows for 15, 20 minutes worth of activity. And the activity doesn't have to be very bold or very difficult, but just not wasting that time sitting idly can make all the difference in your health. Movements that use body weight, such as push-ups, sit-ups, dips, or wall squats, or even if you have a bottled water and you want to do arm curls or a lateral raise, these are ways to better fitness. With that in mind, enjoy your show and become more fit.
This has been your Lewis and Clark Minute.
Hungry? Yeah. The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
Packers. Vikings. Packers. Vikings.
Vikings. Red state. Blue state. Vegan.
Carnivore.
We come from different places.
Uptown.
Downtown.
Optimist.
We come to different conclusions.
Half empty.
Half full.
But when we live united, we create real, lasting change in the building blocks of life. The education, income, and health of our communities,
Live.
our families,
United.
even the person next to us.
Live united.
Real change won't happen without you. So give, advocate, volunteer, live united. Sign up at liveunited.org.
Welcome back to the Dion Thomas Show. My name is Tim Albright. Coach, we talked, you mentioned this a couple times. We haven't had the greatest of starts, let's say. Currently, we're sitting at about 3-18.
3-18.
It pains me to say that.
Pains you.
Especially with you sitting here. What exactly, where are we missing? What are we not firing on here?
Well, I mean, there's a myriad of things, actually. But the main thing is, when you're missing your best players, I mean, you're gonna struggle. Yeah. Davy Austin was a freshman last year. I was looking for him to come in and really be an impact player for me this year. He's out season long with a shoulder injury. So that was kind of where the ball got rolling, where it started rolling down the hill. And, I'm very strict on going to class and doing the things that are necessary, not to just be successful here, but to be successful on the next level. So, I had to remove a couple of people from the team for not attending class and not behaving correctly on campus, and one of those guys was my best and strongest inside player. So now you're missing the two essential pieces on any team, your center position or your power forward, whatever that inside position is, and then you're missing your point guard. So, starting from there, I mean, it was pretty rocky and it was downhill. And then, I lost a couple other guys to eligibility at the break. and then had some other kids that had behavior issues that, I just won't tolerate, that I had to remove from the team. So we're missing 5 players that would have been key players for us and that would have really stood out for us. And then it's just a matter of playing with so many young guys that are left over and trying to get them to understand that high school basketball is totally different from college basketball. And that the most important thing is valuing the basketball. Every possession on the college level counts, which is not really the same on the high school level because you don't have a shot clock, so you have less possessions. Whereas on this level, you have 35 seconds. You got to get rid of the basketball. So each of those possessions you have to value. You have to make it the most important thing at that time. And we're averaging 18 turnovers. So that's 18 missed opportunities. Since we've lost my best rebounder, now we're giving up 10 to 15 offensive rebounds to the other team. So you take that 10 to 15, now we got 33 possessions that you don't have.
And not every game, most of the games that you've lost have been relatively close. So you put those possessions back in your hands.
Yes.
There's a few more wins coming out of that.
No, and you're exactly right. And that's been the problem. I mean, most of our losses have been 1, 2, maybe 3 possessions. Yeah. And here you are, you've lost 33. And not to mention missed free throws. Oh, yeah. Because we're shooting, around 60% from the free throw line. So, you add 15% where we're up around 70 to 75%. Even if you take away, say, give us back 10 of those possessions. Instead of us being 3 and 18, we're probably, that's probably flipped on its ear. We're probably 18 and 3.
Well, see, and you mentioned some of your issues have been injury, but also some of them have been, let's say, off the court performance issues.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about how that impacts not necessarily the player and specifics on the player, but that has to speak volumes to your course and your team when you go out and recruit and say, you know what, look, I'm not going to pull any punches here. You have to go to class. You have to act right. Mm-hmm. So when you go out and you talk with Joe Smith up in Peoria, Illinois, he understands that when you come to Dion Thomas's team, this is about basketball, but it's also about school.
Right. And that's one of the things I explain to the parents, not just to the kid, but I explain to the parents first off. I mean, I pretty much have a contract that they have to sign. And basically it says that you cannot be late for class. You cannot miss class. You have to sit in the front of the classroom. You have to participate in the classroom. And those are my first few rules. Yeah. And then you get to the basketball stuff. Being on time, working hard all the time, and taking care of yourself and taking care of your body. To me, school is first, because everyone knows, I believe, that it's extremely difficult to go on and play professionally. I think it's less than 4% of the people make it to the NBA. And if you're not performing well, on this level or on the 4-year level, you're not going to be able to get to Europe because they don't see you. They don't know you. So now if you don't have an agent, you don't have these people to help you get those positions over there, now what are you going to do? And the bottom line is you have to have your education first and foremost. Yeah. I mean, like I know, you have people with college degrees working at McDonald's today.
Yes.
So now you can't even go out and get that job. Yeah. So, I mean, the school is the, priority number one for me. And, I think I've shown that if you're not doing it, then you can't play on this team.
Yeah, well, that's commendable. Lincoln Trail comes in here tonight. Mm-hmm. They have a record of about 2-8. Mm-hmm. Not the greatest in the world either.
Not the greatest in the world. I mean, they beat us in their gym. Yeah. We played them well. They have a couple of really good players on their team. They have a coach that has been around coaching for 20 to 30 years. I mean, he's been coaching almost longer than I've been living. So they're going to come in. They're going to be prepared. But when we played them there, we had them down. We had them down almost 20 points.
Oh, wow.
And then our same nemesis, peeked his head out. Turnovers, missed opportunities, and we allowed them to come back in the game. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we lost by 6 in a game that we should have won. So hopefully we'll come out and we'll play with that same fire that we did there, but we won't make the same mistakes. And if we do that, I think we'll be successful.
I was going to ask you, besides the obvious answer of a win, what out of tonight do you hope to get out of the team?
Well, I mean, this is one thing I'm extremely proud of with this team. They play hard all the time. I mean, I never question, if that's the one thing that I'm going to get or not get, because I know that's going to happen. They play extremely hard all the time. What I need them to do is to continue to learn. Of course you want the W, and I believe we'll get the W if we learn to value the basketball, to value the possessions. Because if we do that, then we'll cut down on our mistakes. And if we cut down on our mistakes, that means wins. And that'll propel us towards, I think if we get tonight's victory, things will start rolling for us. Yeah. Because then we'll get out of the mindset of losing or, oh, this isn't working. It'll get us into a mindset of positiveness and winning. And that's what you really want when you're coming down towards regionals. So I hate to say that those first games don't matter, because they do. But the closer you get is when you want to peak. And I think we still have a lot to give.
Okay. Coming up in the next couple of weeks, you have Shawnee, you have Swick, you have Logan facing you. Mm-hmm. What do you expect out of those teams that you haven't seen so far?
I don't think they'll do anything different. I mean, leopard doesn't change its spots. No. Yeah, spots. Okay.
Spots,
I had to think tiger stripes, leopard spots.
It works.
But no, I mean, you're not going to change much, especially when you're successful. Swick I believe, is second in our region right now behind Vincennes. So I don't expect them to go out and change anything that they're going to do. I mean, they're going to get the ball inside to their big guys. They're going to play team basketball. And the difference between us and those teams is they don't make mistakes. Yeah. And that's what I tell my guys on a constant basis. You want to be successful, you can't shoot yourself in the foot. And that's what those teams don't do. I don't think, with the exception, say, of Swick or Vincennes, that player for player, those teams are that much better than we are. I think we're pretty much on the same level ground, level footing, but we are killing ourselves with missed free throws, with turnovers. And those are the things that are bringing those, adding to those 33 missed possessions or more at times that are really hurting us.
Yeah, we're getting to a point in the season and in the school year, honestly. It doesn't seem like it. It's 1st of February. But your sophomores are going to start having their eye on either graduation or on transferring. Yes. Talk about a couple of the players maybe that have already started talking to other schools to move on from here to go to a 4-year university.
Well, that's one good thing I can say. We have 4 sophomores. 3 of those sophomores will be graduating. The 4th one will have enough credits to go on to the Division II level. There's just different levels and things, but they're all receiving interest from various programs. Marlon Sykes right now, who's my starting point guard, is probably receiving the most interest from some smaller D1s and some higher D2s. Princeton Stewart is receiving a lot of D2 interest, as well as Dmitry Godowski, the 7-footer, is receiving mainly interest from the Division II level and some NAIA schools. And Stephen McCarty is right up in there. Okay. He hasn't received a lot of Division I offers, but interest, but he's receiving interest from that Division II level, the NAIA level. I mean, for me, the most important is that those guys have the opportunity to go on and continue their education first and foremost, and that they're allowed to play basketball for as long as they can.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Coach, thank you very much. You've been watching the Dion Thomas Show. Up next, Lincoln Trail.